Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. I hope everybody is having a blessed day. This is part 2 of the video. Is homeownership for you? Now in this video, I'm just going to just continue my discussion about rather or rather not homeownership is for you. Now, I would say if you're going to become a homeowner, if you're going to become a homeowner, my suggestion is, number one, know the area where you're going to purchase a home in. Know the area, and if you're a 9-to-5 worker and you do storefront type work, like you work at a factory for an example, or you work in some kind of an office setting for an example, number one, know the area, know the economy, and take a little bit of time and make sure that the area has at least most of the amenities that you desire, or you're at least within a reasonable driving distance to amenities that you need or desire. So, if I were you, I would take at least 6 months and get to know the area well before buying a house. Now, when you first move somewhere, either A, you can rent yourself a low price apartment somewhere, or B, if you're like me, you live by yourself, you don't have no children, you're not married, you can always live out of your vehicle for those 6 months and save yourself a ton of money on utilities and rent. And then when you get ready to purchase your home, you'll have that money saved up, in addition to your other money that hopefully you've been saving for a home purchase. Now, if you're going to become a homeowner, I would suggest that you plan to live in that particular area for at least 5 years. At least 5. And depending on where you buy your home at, you might have, the area where you buy a home at might have a decent equity turnout. Other areas have poor equity turnouts. So if you buy a house this year in 2021, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna keep this house until 2023, and in 2023 I'm gonna sell it, I'm gonna get the equity, and I'm gonna move wherever. Now, if you live in one of the suburbs, that approach to home ownership might work. But if you're living in some of these smaller communities, like I am, or you're living or you buy a house in certain neighborhoods in the metro, that approach to home ownership is not going to work so well. Even if you did get equity, you got to take into consideration, okay, well, by the time you pay your closing cost for your next home, by the time you pay closing cost, realtor fees, and maybe you might have to make a couple of repairs, give or take, and then you also have to factor in the cost of moving. So by the time you pay everything that relates to moving, that relates to selling a home and moving, whatever money you thought you would get back in equity, if you get lucky enough to get all that money back, you're gonna find that either A, you're gonna break even and you're not gonna be walking away with no money in your pocket at all, or B, you're gonna find that the equity that you thought you were gonna get back, you're not gonna get all that back. You'll get back far less, or you might not get back no equity at all. You might actually walk away having to take a L, which that does happen to more people than what one would think. So when buying a house, don't buy a house assuming that, okay, well, the value of a home is going to always go up. So if I keep this house for a couple of years, I'll get my equity and keep it moving. Well, number one, the value of a home does not always go up. Sometimes it goes down. And up until this current market, in a lot of areas that were decent, the housing market at best was stagnant. It didn't go up or down. It was stagnant at best. So I would say if you're going to purchase a home in an area, you're going to want to plan to live in that area for at least 5 years in order to get a half decent return on your investment when you do go to sell it. And even then there's no guarantees on whether your return will be good or bad. Even then there's no guarantees, but 5 years you'll have a little more of assurance than you will after only a year or two. So if you're going to live somewhere for less than 5 years, my suggestion is either A, get an apartment and pay rent, or if you need the extra space of a house, find yourself a house and just rent it out. That way, whenever you get ready to relocate, all you gotta do is submit your 30-day notice to your landlord and then go on with your life. Or B, you can always live out of your vehicle. Now I know a lot of you aren't going to do that because of all the disadvantages of living out of your vehicle. But living out of your vehicle, one big advantage is you're saving money on housing. That's more money you can save for your next home, wherever you choose to buy that home at. But those are a couple of options that you should look at when purchasing a home. I mean, if you're not going to be somewhere for at least 5 years, if I were you, I wouldn't purchase a home. I would pay rent or live out of your vehicle. Or if you can find someone to live with and then you just split the bills with them, then do that. And even if you rented an apartment or you rented a house and you decided to terminate your lease early, i.e. breaking your lease, and you had to pay some sort of an early termination fee, 9 times out of 10 that's going to be far cheaper than what you would have to pay if you were to buy a house in 2021 and then you were to try to sell it in 2023. So that's something that you need to consider before becoming a homeowner. How long you're going to be in the area. Because there's situations to where you're actually better off being a renter than you are a homeowner. So think about all that before you get out here and you start getting all excited looking at houses. And I can't think of anything else to add to this subject. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here because I don't want to keep on mumbling and saying a bunch of nonsense. So everybody have a blessed one, and I will see you guys on the next video.